Happy Sunday. Beautiful day to be in the gym. I'm working out. It's been about 2 weeks. Kind of been messing up, but regardless, I've been out walking, going to the park, walking the dog, walking my granddaughter to the park, several miles. So I'm getting some work in. So I did some weights today, lat pull downs, more weights. Now I'm cooling down on the bike. So I've been here about a little over an hour, almost hour and a half. So, and just reflecting. It's a blessed day, beautiful day, thankful day. Be thankful, be grateful. I was grateful. I worked this week at the salon, a couple days, Friday, Saturday, and had a birthday party for my granddaughter, blah, blah, blah. But I still found the energy because I was excited about the Michael movie. So I went to see it last night. I went to the 9 o'clock show. It wasn't a full house, but it was enough. But what I was kind of disappointed, I think people were just really focused, laser focused in on what was happening in the movie. But at a certain point, I started moving. That music was everything. I started singing and doing all this in my seat. And this couple next to me, they kind of laughed. I'm like, get with it. Why y'all so stiff? Especially the black folks up in here mostly. Why? Where you see on the internet, movie theaters around the world, people are partying. To me, it's a party, it's a festival, it's a celebration of that brilliant man's life. He was the soundtrack of my youth from like 10 years old to my 20s. His music is timeless. It really is about him and his family, that dynamic that a lot of families carry and have of trauma, abuse, verbal as well as physical. So he was verbally and physically abused by his father with that belt. And his father was a big guy, intimidating man. The mom was silent. I don't know if that was due to her religion, Jehovah's Witness or whatever religion they were, but she didn't do enough to help, it happens, unfortunately. So that probably created a template in his life where he became more inward, but just a genius from a young age with vision and just God-given talent. His nephew, Jafar Jackson, amazing. I give him 10 stars for his portrayal. He embodied him. At certain points, when the camera was zooming in and out from an angle profile, I said, that's Michael. That's Michael. He was eccentric, his character. So he didn't have friends because he's made to work from like 6, 7, 8 years old in nightclubs at night when he's supposed to be asleep, getting ready for school. He watched kids play outside when he had to work. You know what kind of damage that caused him? And then created a workaholic work ethic, perfectionism. So he found solace in pets. He had a rat. And then as they became more successful, he was able to buy rats, snakes, a monkey. Bubbles was in it. He was walking a llama down the street. The neighbors were like, what the hell? And a giraffe was walking around in the backyard. So he was all out there. But what I'll say overall, that movie, you learned, and I'm so sure this is from firsthand knowledge from the family who grew up around him. So I don't think it's fabricated in the script. I mean, some of the stuff we knew about from news stories mocking him for things like that with the monkey. But if you see the movie, you kind of understand how he connected with his animals on a level he didn't know how to connect with people, because all he was made to do is be a workhorse. And as he became more and more famous, aside from his brothers, the father pressured him, you do one more tour, do this, do that for the family. What about the family? Guilt tripping him. So the movie, if you're going to go see it, it's not necessarily music, it's music, it's the process of the music, how he created and collaborated. It's at a certain time frame too, from his early childhood to the mid 80s. So they had some concert footage behind the scenes. So you got a real insight. You get a real insight to the mechanics of how they work, how he collaborated with Quincy Jones producing things, how he found his voice and stood up to his father, stood up to the record company, stood up to Quincy Jones, stood up to people. Just a real unique person. I'm sad he's not here. And if he could see if you look on Threads and on Instagram and all on different social media, people in Europe, everybody going crazy over this movie. And so I am probably going to see it again with my daughters or family, friends. I'll see it. When I like a good movie, I'll see it at least 3 times. I saw Black Panther 3-4 times, things like that. So I'm a movie lover. And I tried to work in the industry as a broadcast communication major. So I know some of the facets of production and how hard and long hours those are for the production team as well as the actors. So it's amazing industry, but hard. Hard to deal with, hard to work in. There's a lot of mess in it too. So you can imagine on the magnitude scale that he dealt with that created issues for him. They get behind the story, and I want to tell it all, of his burn, which led to his dependence on Demerol and really strong painkillers, because the damage from the fire, from his hair catching the fire, making a Pepsi commercial, damaged the nerve endings underneath the surface of his scalp. And that was like permanent. So he was permanently bald there, and thus I think he started wearing the hair pieces and wigs and things like that. They touched on a little bit of his vitiligo and his plastic surgeries. So it really helped me to answer some questions and doubts I had. No, I didn't talk about the allegations, but something's coming. At the end, they tell you a message. So that's all I'm going to say. Go see it, support it, make it a monster hit, despite the stupid critics and their critical opinions. This is about a moment for us, for Black people. They were our royal family of entertainment. I saw them once in my hometown when I was a teenager, the Victory Tour. What an entertainer he was then, there, and now. So his legacy maintains. Go see Michael. It's a great ride. It's about 2.5 hours, not even 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes, something like that. But dance, sing, remember the times we had him and the joy he gave us and his music legacy and generosity. He was a sweet soul. That's what I took from it. Peace. Have a good day.